Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm going to give everybody a second to hop on. Sorry, I am a minute or so late. I was messing with the light in here because it's rainy, and I wanted to make sure that you all could see me okay. So my husband Ian is home today, and he was just in here, and we were messing with the light. Luckily, you can turn it up and down a little bit. So how's everybody doing today? Are we good? I wish you all could see my table. I will probably post a picture of it after because I went out after I did my lesson yesterday. I decided to go out to school and get in my classroom. Of course, there was really nobody there. I saw my principal and one of the secretaries, and talked to them from the office door, quite away from everybody, as we're supposed to be doing. And I went upstairs to my room. It was very eerie, very weird being there with the school being so dark and quiet, and no boys and girls around, no teachers around. It was really weird. So I went into my class and I just started ransacking my bookshelves. And when I say ransack, if you don't know what that word means, it means just kind of throwing books in my bag to take home. So after working for going on about an hour in my room getting materials, I got glue, I got whiteboards, I got dry erase markers. I pulled everything I could. My bag was over the top. Like, it was a huge carry-on bag. So it was overflowing. Thank goodness no one was in the hallway, because I may or may not have, as it was on my back, kind of tripped. I did not fall, but had I fallen, my books would have gone everywhere, and it would have been a major mess, and a lot of people probably would have laughed at me. So I was carting this bag on my back like I was a pack mule down the stairs. I managed to not fall down the stairs. Then it's pouring rain. So my car is parked right as close to the door as I could get it, but I still had to get to my car. So I opened the back seat. This bag is so packed, I almost did not get it in my car. So I'm sure that had my boys and girls been around, that, and I can hear some of them right now, they would have seen me and gone, "Mrs. Vartrees, what are you doing?" Because that's how they usually sound whenever they say that. Or, "Oh, Mrs. Vartrees," and they just kind of shake their head. So that's what yesterday would have been had they seen it. And I could think some of them, I can probably name some of them right now that probably would have been the ones that yelled at me like, "Oh, I don't even know what to do with her." So, but I managed to get a whole lot of books. I just kept looking, going, "Yeah, I need to take that one too. Oh, yeah, I need to take that one too. Ooh, I need to print that out because I want to teach with that here soon." So I think I am kind of ready to get started for today. If by chance, parents, if you were wanting to listen to me on the radio and you did not see my Facebook update because of President Trump's his going live at 11 o'clock this morning. I think TV picked it up about 11:30, but radio took it at 11 with his press conference. I am going to be on via the phone, the Tony and Dwight show on 8:40 a.m. tomorrow, about 11 a.m., 11:05 probably after the news. So if anything changes, I will keep you all posted on that. But I know Tony and Dwight said that they wanted to have a teacher, and here I am. I do know them because of my husband working with them. But I look forward to talking to them tomorrow and just talking about things that we can do at home. So we'll see how that goes. But today, I am ready to get started. I am really excited about this lesson today because in reading, this is probably one of my favorite things in reading to teach. And I can already hear some boys and girls going, "Wah," whenever I show you what it is we're going to focus on today. It is, are you ready? Me, 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 me. It's creeping. It is the theme of a story. And do you like my little flowers? I did that because today is technically the first day of spring, even though it is pouring rain yet again around here. No snow this fall or this winter, but we got a whole lot of rain. But it's supposed to be close to 80 degrees, so I had to draw some flowers for spring because they're starting to come up. So we are going to learn all about the theme. So to get started, I want to see in comments, if you don't have paper or pencil, try to grab that right now too. And you can jot it on your paper also, but I want to see it in the comments. I'm going to start by asking you a question. And this is a question that I have thought of very hard for myself for the past 2 days when I knew that I was going to ask you this, because I don't know if I would be able to do what I'm asking you to think about if you could do. So the question I ask you is, if you had to give up the most important thing to you, would you be able to do it? And what is your most important thing? Would you be able to give up the very most important thing in your entire world? And if so, what is your most important thing? Go ahead and put that in the comments. If you want to write it down, please do so. Complete sentences. You are capable. You know it. Complete sentence. Somebody already said nope, couldn't do it. So I was trying to think, what is my most important thing? I don't know. For me, my husband, I am obviously extremely close to, also my sisters, my parents, so probably just family in general. I'm close to, I adore my nephews. I have 2 godsons that I love just with all of my heart. I don't know if I could give them up. I don't think I could. If I'm thinking outside of family, it would probably be just teaching. Would I be able to give you up? Would I be able to say, I'm never, ever going to teach again? I don't think that I would be able to do that either. As you can see, this, not doing teaching face-to-face lasted all of approximately 2 days. So I figured that I couldn't do that. Yeah, so I'm seeing lots of family. I see gymnastics. Yeah. Veda, that's very true. When I was young, I did dance and piano lessons, and they became very important to me also. I don't know if I would be able to give that up. So while you are still thinking about it, if you choose not to put it in the comments, that's okay. Maybe just jot it down to yourself. If you, and just kind of continue to think about that as I read to you here in just a second. So yesterday we read about the first story in the Tales of the Beetle the Bard, and it was about the hopping pot. Well, today our story is called The Fountain of Fair Fortune. And fair fortune is a very fancy way of saying good luck, the fountain of good luck. So we are going to read to find out what the characters learn from this story, and then what we are going to learn from this story too. Remember your rule of three. At the end, I'm going to see if you catch what the rule of three is for this. Okay, I'm ready to go. The Fountain of Fair Fortune. High on a hill in an enchanted garden, enclosed by tall walls and protected by strong magic, flowed the Fountain of Fair Fortune. Once a year, between the hours of sunrise and sunset on the longest day, a single unfortunate was given the chance to fight their way to the fountain, bathe in its waters, and receive fair fortune forevermore. On the appointed day, hundreds of people traveled from all over the kingdom to reach the garden walls before dawn. Male and female, rich and poor, young and old, of magical means and without, they gathered in the darkness, each hoping they would be the one to gain entrance to the garden. 3 witches, each with her burden of woe, meaning her problem, met on the outskirts of the crowd and told one another their sorrows as they waited for the sunrise. The first, by name Asha, was sick of a malady, had an illness that no healer could cure. She hoped that the fountain would banish her symptoms and grant her a long and happy life. The second, by name Althea, had been robbed of her home, her gold, and her wand by an evil sorcerer. She hoped that the fountain might relieve her of powerlessness and poverty. The third, by name Amata, had been deserted by a man whom she loved dearly, and she thought her heart would never mend. She hoped that the fountain would relieve her of her grief and longing. Pitying each other, the 3 women agreed that, should the chance befall them, they would unite and try to reach the fountain together. The sky was rent with the first ray of sun, and a chink in the wall opened. A chink means a little opening, just a boop, like that. The crowd surged forward, each of them shrieking their claim for the fountain's benison. I had to look that up. We'll talk about vocabulary probably some next week. That means a blessing. Creepers from the garden beyond snaked through the pressing mass and twisted themselves around the first witch, Asha. She grasped the wrist of the second witch, Althea, who seized tight upon the robes of the third witch, Amata. And Amata became caught upon the armor of a dismal, sad-looking knight who was seated on a bone-thin horse. The creepers tugged at the 3 witches through the chink in the wall, and the knight was dragged off his steed after them. The furious screams of the disappointed throng rose upon the morning air, then fell silent as the garden walls sealed once more. Asha and Althea were angry with Amata, who had accidentally brought along this knight. Only one of us can bathe in the fountain. It will be hard enough to decide which of us it will be without adding another. Now, Sir Luckless, as the knight was known in the land outside of the walls, observed that these witches, and having no magic, nor any great skill at jousting or dueling with swords, nor anything that distinguished the non-magical man, were sure that he had no hope of beating the 3 women to the fountain. He therefore declared his intention of withdrawing outside the walls again. At this, Amata became angry too. "Faint heart," she chided him. "Draw your sword, knight, and help us reach our goal." And so the 3 witches and the forlorn, sad knight ventured forth into the enchanted garden. Here's a picture. There they go. Where rare herbs, fruit, and flowers grew in abundance on either side of the sunlit path. They met no obstacle until they reached the foot of the hill on which the fountain stood. There, however, wrapped around the base of the hill was a monstrous white worm, bloated and blind. As they approached, it turned a foul face upon them and uttered the following words: "Pay me the proof of your pain." Sir Luckless drew his sword and attempted to kill the beast, but his blade snapped. Then Althea cast rocks at the worm, while Asha and Amata essayed every spell they might subdue or entrance it. But the power of their wands was no more effective than their friend's stones or the knight's steel. The worm would not let them pass. The sun rose higher and higher in the sky, and Asha, despairing, began to weep. Then the great worm placed its face upon hers and drank the tears from her cheeks. Its thirst was gone. The worm slithered aside and vanished into a hole in the ground. Rejoicing at the worm's disappearance, the 3 witches and the knight began to climb the hill, sure that they would reach the fountain before noon. Halfway up the steep slope, however, they came across words cut into the ground before them. Pay me the fruit of your labors. Sir Luckless took out his only coin and placed it upon the grassy hillside, but it rolled away and it was lost. The three witches in the night continued to climb, but though they walked for hours more, they advanced not a step. The summit came no nearer, and still the inscription lay in the earth before them. All were discouraged as the sun rose over their heads and began to sink toward the far horizon. But Althea walked faster and harder than any of them and exhorted the others to follow her example, though she moved no further up the enchanted hill. Courage, friends, do not yield, she cried, wiping the sweat from her brow. As the drops fell glittering into the earth, the inscription blocking their path vanished, and they found that they were able to move upward once more. Delighted by the removal of the second obstacle. Second obstacle. Putting that in my brain. They hurried toward the summit as fast as they could, until at last they glimpsed the fountain glittering like crystal in a bower of flowers and trees. I had to look that up. A shady spot. Before they could reach it, however, they came to a stream that ran around the hilltop, barring their way. In the depths of the clear water lay a smooth stone bearing the words, "Pay me the treasure of your past." So the question I asked you a little bit ago, if you hadn't thought about what the most important thing to you is, hopefully now maybe you have an idea of what that could be, the treasure of your past. So I think what this means in this text right here is give the fountain the thing that you would never want to give up. Oh, that would be very hard. Here they've come this way and now they have to give up something that's so important to them. So let's keep reading and find out what that is for each of these travelers. Sir Luckless attempted to float across the stream on a shield, but it sank. The three witches pulled him from the water, then tried to leap the brook themselves, but it would not let them cross, and all the while the sun was sinking lower in the sky. So they fell to pondering, thinking about the meaning of the stone's message. And Amata was the first to understand. Taking her wand, she drew from her mind all the memories of the happy time she had spent with her vanished lover and dropped them into the rushing waters. The stream swept them away and stepping stones appeared, and the three witches in the night were able to pass at last onto the summit of the hill. The fountain shimmered before them, set amidst herbs and flowers rarer and more beautiful than they had ever seen. The sky burned a ruby color, and it was time to decide which of them would. Before they could make their decision, however, frail Asha fell to the ground. Exhausted by their struggle to the summit, she was close to death. Her three friends would have carried her to the fountain, but Asha was in mortal agony and begged them not to touch her. Then Althea hastened. She quickened to pick all those herbs she thought were the most helpful and mixed them in Sir Luckless's gourd of water and poured the potion into Asha's mouth. At once, Asha was able to stand. What was more, all symptoms of her dread malady, of her sickness, had vanished. "I'm cured," she cried. "I have no need of the fountain, so let Althea bathe." But Althea was busy collecting more herbs in her apron. "If I can cure this disease, I shall earn gold aplenty. Let Amata bathe." Sir Luckless bowed and gestured Amata toward the fountain, but she shook her head. The stream had washed away all regret for her lover, and she saw now that he had been cruel and faithless, and that it was happiness enough to be rid of him. "Good sir, you must bathe as a reward for all your chivalry, all of your help, all of your good being a knight," she told Sir Luckless. So the knight clanked forth in the last rays of the setting sun and bathed in the fountain of fair fortune, astonished that he was chosen one of hundreds and giddy with his incredible luck. As the sun fell below the horizon, Sir Luckless emerged from the waters with the glory of his triumph upon him and flung himself in his rusted armor at the feet of Amata, who was the kindest and most beautiful woman he had ever beheld. Flushed with success, he begged for her hand and her heart, and Amata, no less delighted, realized that she had found a man worthy of them. The three witches and the knight set off down the hill together, arm in arm, and all four led long and happy lives, and none of them ever knew or suspected that the water's fountains carried no enchantment at all. And there it is. So the fountain, it wasn't magic. It wasn't magical at all. But they ended up solving things for themselves. So, first question. I saw more than one rule of three here. Who can comment and say what the rule of three? I think I saw two. What are the rules of three that were presented here? And while you're doing that, I'm going to get a drink of water. I need one after reading. So think about the witches. How many witches were there? So I'm sure many of you know how many witches there were. They all had A names, Asha and Althea and Amata, and there were three witches. So each of them had their own problem that they were trying to solve. And then how many, very good, Veda and Valencia, there were three obstacles too. So the knight and the three witches had to get through three tasks. One was the big monster worm, and one was getting up the hill, and then the third one was giving up paying the treasure to get to the fountain. So, which Amata figured out, giving away all of her memories and thoughts of the person that she loved the most in the world. So, but it turned out she then quickly realized he wasn't worth her love, that someone else was going to be worth her love. So that's something that that is very important for us to think about, that sometimes I think we only remember good things, or we want to focus on the good things, and that's a great thing. And we may not remember the bad times. So I think maybe our brains do that on purpose. We want to only focus on the good things out there, and we kind of let the bad go away. But when she got rid of all of her good memories, she did remember the bad. And then that's when she realized that she needed to be with the knight, Sir Luckless. Luckless, suffix meaning no luck. He ended up the luckiest of them. So now we are going to go into talking about theme for a minute, and then we're going to do a little activity together. So if you don't have paper and pencil or a whiteboard or something, get that now. So the first thing I'm going to do, my second year of teaching, I was teaching sixth grade, and I was actually co-teaching with my now friend Valerie in Clarksville. And Valerie and I were trying to get ready to do a lesson on theme. And so I had taught second grade the year before, and I thought, you know what? I am going to try to come up with something. I know my second graders like to sing a lot, and I like to sing. I like to say I am the most talented singer in the entire world. My boys and girls will tell you that. I sing in my microphone all the time to them. But I'm just joking because I'm not, but they have to listen to me. So I came up with a song to teach theme. And I am going to teach it to you right now. In fact, I one time submitted this song to a teacher magazine, and they took it and they made a poster out of it. They changed this last line. I still use this last line. They changed it to kind of their own. But this is to the tune to Oh McDonald. Everybody knows that song. It's super easy. So it goes like this. The theme of the story is a lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned. The theme of the story is a lesson learned from the author to all of us. So some people call it the moral. I like to call it the lesson learned. And I also like to tell boys and girls that there can be more than one theme in a text. Sometimes kiddos, you get so caught up in the idea of, well, I got to be exactly right. There's only one possibility here. And if I don't get it, it's going to be wrong. And so I'm not even going to try. No, there can be many themes that you can learn from a text. We're going to brainstorm a little bit here in the comments, and we're going to come up with kind of maybe a general moral, a general lesson learned that Beetle the Bard, aka J.K. Rowling, wanted us to learn from the text today. So if you have an idea, what did the characters learn in this by doing these impossible tasks? What did they end up learning? And what can we as people take away from that today? So if you have an idea, jot it in the comments. Oh, pointing the wrong way. Wait, I'm still not good at that. right there. Ooh. So what do you think is something that we need to learn from this? A theme is a complete sentence. So what did the characters do for each other? Be thinking about that. How were they able to help each other? What did they realize at the end? So go ahead and put that in the comments. What do you think we can learn from this? I kind of want to sing to you again. Okay, I'll sing one more time. The theme of the story is a lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned. The theme of the story is a lesson learned from the author to all of us. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get my other whiteboard ready. I have to erase my beautiful flowers because we're going to do a little activity together. As I was packing all my books yesterday, I should have made a list of things that I need. I was in my room and I was like, I need whiteboards. They didn't need luck to solve their problems. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, they didn't need magic. Respect people, be nice to people. Good job, Jacob. Hi, Jacob. I miss you. I think that they ended up, while they were on their journey, I like to think that they helped each other. They learned that they didn't need magic. Well, I guess Amada did take her memories out of her brain and wash them in the river there. But they didn't need magic to solve their problems. They used their brains. They worked together and decided what it was that they needed to do, because they quickly realized that they cared, I think, more about each other at the end than they cared about themselves. And that was shown by them saying, oh, no, 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 you take it. You take it. I'm going to be okay because I can make this herb potion and people are going to want it. So I'm going to be able to sell that. Or I'm cured. I don't even need the fountain anymore. Or, I don't want my husband or boyfriend back anymore. It turns out he wasn't a good guy. And then Sir Luckless decided, he suddenly got courage that he thought he got from the fountain, but it was inside of him all along. He didn't need luck. He just had to realize that he was going to be able to do what he set out to do. So with your paper and pencil, I'm going to teach you something. And if you have been in my class before, you have probably done this. I learned this when I was learning to be a reading teacher, and I use it all the time. You can use this for so many different things. It's not just theme, believe me. So I'm going to teach you something called brain drops. And the first thing you're going to need your paper, or your whiteboard, or whatever it is that you have, and you're going to draw an umbrella. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Anytime I say draw an umbrella, I always want boys and girls, I say draw a big one. You need a big umbrella. And then I get this. Is that a big umbrella? No, it is not. Do not draw something like that. Let me show you what to draw. And it just takes a second. This does not have to be anything fancy. That's what I drew. That's the size of umbrella that you need. So instead of raindrops, which is just kind of a perfect thing for our rainy day right now, I want you to, we are going to draw big drops around this umbrella for ideas on how this was shown, how our theme was going to be shown. So I'm going to write the theme right here. And I got some good ideas here. You don't need luck to solve your problems. You should care about other people. So I'm going to kind of combine that into one right now. And I think I'm going to say, because so many of you have such good ideas that I'm reading through here, why don't we say it's important to use your mind on how to help. It's important to use your mind and figure out how to help other people. How's that sound? We'll go with that. So I'm going to write that in my umbrella. I ended up saying to problem solve and help others. I wish I had my big movable whiteboard. I have one in my classroom that I teach reading on every day, but there's no way I was going to be able to get that in my car, at least by myself yesterday. So who knows? However long this goes, we might need to go out and get it. So that's what I have here in my umbrella. Now, the next thing that I am going to ask you to do, we are going to draw drops around this that support this idea with text evidence based on what it was that we just read in our fountain text, our fountain fairy tale. So if you have an example of a way that the witches in Sir Luckless use their mind to problem solve, put it in the comments right now. I'll jot it around this umbrella. How did they use their mind to problem solve and help others? Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and get one ready. I'm going to show you how big our drops need to be. Like that big. You've got to be able to write in them. So while you are coming up with your ideas, I think they're coming through my screen here, just taking a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and maybe get started on the first one. Okay, they use their mind to figure out who could use the fountain. Good, good, good. Okay. So I put that in here. The group used their minds to help each other. Okay, good. Yeah. They also decided that they realized that in a short time they cared about each other too. So how did they show how they cared about each other? How did they show that? I'm going to draw my next drop. So I would say they first showed they cared about each other by helping the sick witch quickly make some medicine out of herbs. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Here we go. They made medicine from herbs. Yeah, we got to try to be as specific as possible whenever we're showing our text evidence. That's really important. So let's think. What was the next thing they did whenever they helped? So they wanted the next witch to go bathe. And instead she said, oh no, I want you to go bathe because I have realized she used her mind and offered someone else because she said, I can end up making my own money. So I'm going to put another drop here. And as you can see, is it okay that it went over the umbrella? Of course it is. Yep. Do your drops have to be in the same places as mine? Oh, no, absolutely not. Okay. So they said, you know what? We're going to, the second witch, let me get my mind straight. She said, I'm going to let other people go because I know that I can make money. So she used her mind to problem solve. So I said the second witch let others go because she could sell her things. And then the last witch realized that she really didn't have a problem at all, that her problem went away when she had all the good memories go. So I said, one realized, whoops, she had no problem at all when she used her mind by washing away all those good memories. So I have 4 ideas around, and you may be coming up with some other ones on your own, and that's great. You may be coming up with something that I didn't think about. But these details here from the text, they prove that this is a theme. This is something that we can take from this text. It's the lesson learned from the author to you, and me. So what I am going to have you do right now, I'm going to kind of give you your little extension activity now. So my goal for you today is I want you to come up with another theme for this text, another lesson that can be learned from this. If you are, and I want you to do a little brain drops activity, okay? So I want you to come up with another theme, because I said there could be, when I do this with my class, I have boys and girls yelling out things to me, saying, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Oh, this is one. Absolutely. You can come up with ones too. So, and talk to mom and dad about it. Talk to big brother and sister. Talk to whoever you want to at your house. Talk to your cat about it. She might want to listen. So if you are in preschool to kindergarten, I want you to talk about it with mom and dad, come up with an idea, and try to come up with 2 things that support your idea. Write that around your umbrella, okay? If you are in 1st or 2nd grade, I want you to try to come up with 3. Come up with 3 details that support what happened in the text. And when this is posted online, if you need to hear the text again, go back and listen to it again. You can listen to it as many times as you need. If you are in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, I want you to come up with at least 4. You can do at least 4, if not 5. I'm sure you can. And if you are a middle schooler, yes, middle schoolers, this is for you too. I want you to try to come up with at least 6. I know that you can do it. There are many things in this text that can help you to remember and support your theme that you come up with. And until then, I cannot wait. Please post what it is in the comments on this thread again. I cannot wait to see what you did yesterday. Oh my gosh. And this morning, some of the things that you came up with, I was so proud of you, and you are so smart. And I know that you would be blowing the mind of your teachers wherever you may be, if it's at my school or if it's at another school in the area. You are smart. Don't you ever, ever, ever let anyone tell you that you're not. So until then, I will see you again tomorrow at 1 o'clock, where we will focus on another idea. And then until then, I will tell you what I told you yesterday, which is toodaloo poodles. Goodbye. Mwah. I'll see you tomorrow.